Hello and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. Let's play episode 110. I had an OBS crash while I was recording this episode, so we've skipped forward about a third of a cycle, unfortunately, but you haven't really missed anything too important. We're just clearing off this top area over here. That way we can launch our rocket. So let's go ahead and get to that. We're going to increase the priority here. I don't need these swept up right now. I just want to clear out this area effectively. A few other little things I want to do. Let's build a granite flower pot right here, and we'll just stick a wheezewort here to see if that can reduce our scalding problems. I'm not really sure why we're having scalding problems because the temperature down here is 37 degrees, 40 degrees, around that. But I think it's that I think it's this insulated tile that has gotten super hot, basically by being in contact with this crude oil. Maybe? I don't know. And I think it's just that they're next to it. It's creating the scald conditions. I don't know. It's annoying because the area is properly cooled. It's just this one tile, for whatever reason, is 107 degrees. I mean, even this one is not 107 degrees. This one is 90 degrees. Still probably enough for a scald, and these are 27 degrees. So it's just that we got some hot ceramic for this one insulated tile that's creating some issues. Also, let's go ahead and throttle this back to 0. I feel like we have enough steam in the system already. Right, I've got a lot of kilograms of steam up in here, and we're just going to start pumping it out over to here. Speaking of which, yeah, I think we end up having a slight problem because I've done this before, living the Groundhog Day experience. We're going to have a slight problem that this pipe is going to break a little bit and release a little bit of water because the way we set this up, there's just sort of a dwell time sitting here. So this water has just been sitting here for a while with this colder granite. Right, this igneous rock tile is 34 degrees. Maybe we should have used ceramic basically to solve that. Would have been the better answer. But we're going to suffer a little breakage, but it's not going to be that significant. Okay, so another thing I'm going to do is while my guys are working on clearing out the area above the rocket for the launch, I'd like to go ahead and start setting up an area for our next major project. We're going to go ahead and grab some igneous rock. And we're just going to run it down like so. Build scaffolding along the way. And we are going to clear out this area in preparation for... Oh, can't quite do that. That's fine. We're going to clear out this area in preparation for tapping our oil wells. Oil wells are a pretty important resource in the late game. At least they give you a lot in terms of resources. We'll wait on that. We'll say dig out all of this and this. We're basically just going to clear out this area. We'll pump it out and do stuff there. So something for them to do while I'm fiddling around with this rocket launch. Okay, let's go ahead and set our destination so that we're ready to launch, and let's go. We want them to dig out this regolith and then sweep up all this stuff. We'll go ahead and bump up the priority a little bit even further. Sweep out the rest of this, and we are ready to launch. Just get the last bits out of the way. While we're at it, let's go ahead and forbid people from coming in here because we're about to launch. Oh, and let's also grab ourselves, let's just uproot this guy. Grab ourselves a wheezewort to put in here. Okay. Almost cleared out the rest of this. Go and grab it. Perfect. Okay. Open the outer doors, open the inner doors, and retract the gantry. We are ready to launch. Six research modules. Living the dream. Launch. There we go. Star map. Launch rocket. Oh yeah. Very nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and close up this. Close up this. And we'll leave the gantry retracted for now. And then we can tell people that they can come back in here. And we'll plant a warp seed. I think we have random scalding here because this insulated tile, for whatever reason, is 107 degrees. I find it weird that this one's 107 degrees and this one is 90 degrees, and then these are 27 degrees. It really just matters what... yeah, I mean, and even these, which have been next to super hot steam forever, are only 50 degrees, 30 degrees, whatever. I think it's just this one super hot ceramic tile that's creating the problems. Unfortunately, we can't replace it because it is part of our airlock, but I think that's what's creating the scalding. That'd be my guess. Let's also tell them to sweep up any remaining hot regolith that they have left around. Close up our doors and start pumping out our steam. Yeah, here's the break that we have here. Okay, so for the remainder of the episode, while we're waiting for our rocket to land again, I think we might be able to catch that by the end of the episode. 3 cycles to go. What do I plan on doing with this area over here? Oh, and Gossman does not have a job. I just noticed that. Yeah, go ahead and get yourself a job there, Gossman. So, what do we plan on? How do we plan on tapping these oil reservoirs? Well, first off, why do we plan on tapping the oil reservoirs? The answer is that even though you put water in, that scalding is annoying. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this Wheezewort will be able to do enough. The problem is we need to cool down this insulated tile, which I don't think is going to happen because it's next to this this oil at this point. I think it's just this tile. This one tile. Everything else is at a reasonable temperature. Oh well. Okay. So why do we plan on tapping the oil wells, oil reservoirs with an oil well? Well, even though they give you a technology, the oil refinery, to convert crude oil into petroleum, it's actually not the best way to convert oil into petroleum. Heating the oil up into petroleum is the best way because this gives you petroleum in a 1-to-2 ratio. Or I should say, for every kilogram of petroleum that you get out, it takes you 2 kilograms of crude oil, right? So, it's not that efficient of a system the way things are set up, and on the net, the amount of water that you put into an oil reservoir to get the oil out is not... Let's up that a little bit. And also tell this guy to dig out here. The amount of oil that you get out is not net water positive, right? You're going to have the issue that even though you get water out of, say, a petroleum generator, it's not going to be as much water as you put in to get the oil, and it isn't a very efficient system as a result. The thing is, now that we're going to space, we're going to have the space materials necessary to make ourselves a really easy petroleum cooker. And suddenly, the equation changes. That as we put water in, we actually get more water out in the form of the oil than we did going in, which is pretty neat. Let's go ahead and dig out this as well. So these oil wells are like, effectively, once you reach the late game, they're kind of like your own geysers, right? They take a little bit of work to get up and running, because you're going to need yourself a space age petroleum cooker, but you get more resources, more water for all your Omega projects, water being one of the most important resources in the game. So that's why we're tackling it. And how do we want to tackle it? Well, how we want to tackle it is more or less as follows. We want to create a sort of multi-stage... Oh, Banny, she can't dig. So she's trapped there. That's annoying. Banny is now suffocating because there's not enough oxygen here. Her not being able to dig has gotten her in so many problems. Now she has hypothermia. Fun. Alright, let's assign her a sick bed. It's always Banny. Not being able to dig is just always getting her in trouble. Where are you? You're at the top, right? Okay. Alright, so how do we plan on attacking the oil wells? Well, first thing to note is that the... what are you doing? Okay, recovering breath. The first thing to note is that the water that you put in can be at any temperature. It doesn't matter. The oil that is going to come out at the same temperature regardless. The natural gas kind of byproduct of the oil well is going to come out at the same temperature regardless. So this is sort of one of the first things about heat management in this game. Whenever the input temperature doesn't matter, right, that the outputs are not controlled by the input temperature, which is for a lot of buildings in this game, you kind of want to heat up the inputs as much as possible and extract all of the heat from things that you want to keep cool and put it into those inputs where it can basically be deleted. So that's ultimately what we are going to try and do here. We'd like to inject water that's around, I don't know, 90 degrees, right? Fairly hot. We'll get 90 degree temperature oil out because that's the fixed temperature that the oil comes out. We'll get 230 degree temperature. We'll get 230 degree temperature natural gas as a sort of a byproduct, and we can use the cooling opportunity afforded by the hot water that we're putting in. We can use that to... Do we want to set up a pump? I think we want to start considering setting up a pump. Build granite here. We want to use that cooling opportunity to cool down this area. That way our guys can operate it without killing themselves. We would also be pretty interested... Let's go ahead and set ourselves up a granite floor right here. This is where we're going to put our storage. What was I saying? Yeah, so we want to pump in hot water. That way we can delete the heat, get oil out, be able to cool down this area at the same time. And we also, because our inputs are probably going to be polluted water, we have another heat deletion opportunity in the water sieve. The water sieve, you guys probably know at this point, the water sieve outputs water at 40 degrees. It doesn't matter what temperature you put in the polluted water. Let's go ahead and do this. Granite's fine. Do this. Okay. So we're going to set up effectively a multi-stage heating cooling type of thing here, where we put an aqua tuner into a pool of polluted water. we heat up that polluted water, we run it through a water sieve, and then we heat up the resulting water from the water sieve and then put it into our oil reservoir. And each time that we're heating up something like that, we're giving ourselves an opportunity to cool down the rest of everything going on with our system. So we have some pretty good opportunities to get a lot of heating, cooling, whatnot done. Why is this unreachable? I don't know. A lot of good opportunities to get that done. Let's extend this out a little bit. And so that's what I want to start working on. Heat management is a pretty important thing in the late game. Being able to cool things off, obviously, is critical to doing your space operations. So the game kind of implicitly says, hey, this is something you're going to have to learn. But also a lot of your mega projects are going to revolve around proper heating and cooling, right? Have you worked as a scientist? 1.2 cycles remaining. So, learning how to do that is pretty important to the game, I feel. Certainly in the late game. In the early game, you can get by with some wheeze warts and some other things like that, but I still have... I think that's why that's unreachable. I don't know. Get rid of all this. And this sort of in-depth heating, cooling solution is going to be typical of what we do from here on out. That we're going to be trying to extract as much efficiency as possible. Job mastered. Joshua mastered that job. All right. What was I about to do here? Oh, get rid of this. So what is our heating cooling system going to look like? Well, we're going to have at the top a natural gas generator. And this is also going to go into why sort of another aspect of heat deletion, which is that some buildings don't have a fixed temperature. Omelets, vitamin chews. I'll take omelets. Some buildings do not have a fixed temperature, but rather output the temperature at the temperature of the building. The inputs can be whatever, right? But the outputs are going to be at whatever the temperature of the building is. So a natural gas generator, for example, do I have one over here? Yeah. This natural gas generator produces carbon dioxide and polluted water. The polluted water just drops here. We see there's no output line for it. The carbon dioxide will go into an output line, right? Which we have going right here right now. Digging out this, digging out this. Okay. The carbon dioxide is an output line. The polluted water does not, but both are going to come out of whatever the temperature is of the... Ada has hypothermia. Yeah, I mean, we have them doing all this stuff. They're going to get some. It's a little bit of hypothermias. I think it's time to start pumping stuff out. Plumbing. Liquid pump. Let's grab some iron ore. Slap this down right here. Let's go ahead and let them run while we're doing this. And plumbing, liquid pipe, igneous rock is fine. Just run it up here. Simple system for now. We'll want to power this. This is just going to be temporary, so let's go ahead. Well, if I wire this up. Yeah, let's just go like so. Okay. So the temperature of the natural gas generator matters, and is a good way to delete a lot of heat, because again, the natural gas can be at whatever temperature that we want that goes in there. So we can heat up the natural gas as well. And because we are getting all this cooling out of the system, because we have all these things that we're heating up with aqua tuners. Whoops. Jobs, job mastery. May is done as an exosuit engineer. Good job, May. Ready to work as, let's say miner. Oh, and as our rocket starts coming down, this area is still clear. All right, half a cycle to go. We're going to end the episode once the rocket lands, I think, just so we can see a full trip. The natural gas you can heat up, which gives you another opportunity to cool things down. But also, because you have all this cooling that's coming from Mima, did I miss that one? Mima, done as an apprentice architect. Let's get her started as an architect. Because you have all this cooling from your heating up of the polluted water and the heating up of the water, you can do some really cool stuff getting the temperature of the natural gas generator down to about 0 degrees. If I say properties, the freeze point here is -20, so we could go as low as -20 basically. We don't want it lower than that because then we'll have damage. Or actually, will we just be getting ice out of our... That's a good question. I don't know if we'll take damage if we have it cooler than that. But either way, we can use that super cooling to cool even more stuff down, and basically just create an entire system here that, even though it's nominally a system that is producing a lot of heat because we are taking water in at maybe 90 degrees, but getting outputs that are equally hot or hotter out of it, this is going to be a great opportunity for keeping our base and a bunch of other stuff really cool. This could be a good setup for ultimately... they can reach all this, right? They just need to get the iron ore. Okay. This can be a good setup ultimately for... and a mop order right here. A good setup for 0.1 cycles. Let's go back up here. And we will open. And open. These are all filled up at this point. Oh yeah. We'll eventually automate all this, that way I don't have to go up here and click, and if I forget, then cause problems for myself. But for now, we'll lose some steam here. It's kind of just inevitable. 0 cycles left. Let's go, boys. What was I going to say? Did I pause? We'll have a lot of opportunities to cool stuff down with this system. Oh yeah. Very nice. Close it up. And that is a successful launch. Extend our gantry. Get Stinky out of there. Oh yeah. Good job, Stinks. Mission accomplished. And here's the data banks. Oh wow, they gave me... Oh, okay. Yeah, we got what we expected out of here. Which is we get 250 because of the 5 things that we researched, and then we get an extra 60 because we had 6 research modules on there. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to call things here, And in the next episode, we are going to go a little more into our design of this whole thing that we're going to build down here for dealing with oil reservoirs. All right, cutting things here. Sorry, oh, excuse me. Cutting things here, and I will catch you guys in the next one.